Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the only podcast where you get unfiltered and unbiased views on the world of sports. I'm your host, Howard, and we're glad you're tuning in today. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you, filled with debate, discussion, and analysis of the latest news from the sports universe. Let's dive right into our first topic, the 2026 NFL Draft. The draft has been making waves, with teams bolstering their rosters and fans eagerly awaiting the upcoming season. One team that's been grabbing headlines is the Dallas Cowboys, who made a stunning pick in the first round by selecting Ohio State safety Caleb Downs. According to Colin Cowherd from The Herd, the Cowboys have landed the steal of the draft. Cowherd believes that Downs is an Ed Reed-level player, with instincts and anticipation that set him apart from other prospects. Despite being overshadowed by his teammates, Downs has built a reputation as one of the most versatile defenders in college football. The Cowboys' selection of Downs has been hailed as a home run, with many analysts predicting that he'll immediately anchor their secondary. But that wasn't the only move they made to address their defense. They also traded down to select UCF defensive end Malachi Lawrence, a pick that some have labeled as a reach. However, Cowherd defends the pick, arguing that it's not about next season, but rather about building a strong foundation for the future. With the additions of Rashawn Gary, Quinnen Williams, and Kenny Clark, the Cowboys are clearly looking to revamp their defense. We'll be keeping a close eye on how these moves play out, and we want to hear from you. Do you think the Cowboys made the right call in selecting Caleb Downs? Will he live up to the hype, or will he struggle to adapt to the NFL? We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion. We're diving into the world of NFL draft picks and exploring which newcomers are set to make a splash with their respective teams. Let's take a look at some of the most exciting selections. The Carolina Panthers, for instance, chose an exceptional talent in Jordan Addison, whose impressive skills on the field will undoubtedly bring a fresh energy to the team. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears opted for Ethan Hurst, a physical freak with immense potential that has fans eagerly anticipating his debut. In other news, the Dallas Cowboys picked up a defensive standout in Jalen Jones, and the Denver Broncos snagged a highly touted tight end in Braylon Allen. Both of these picks are expected to greatly bolster their team's chances of success. Moving on, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who secured an elite running back in Jeremiah Love. This move is likely to significantly boost their offense and has left fans buzzing with excitement. The Los Angeles Chargers also made a savvy pick, selecting quarterback Drake May, whose impressive passing abilities are sure to shake things up. Additionally, teams like the Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots, and New Orleans Saints have all made notable picks that will undoubtedly impact their upcoming seasons. We're seeing a mix of defensive powerhouses, explosive wide receivers, and game-changing quarterbacks, all of which promise to bring an extra layer of competition to the NFL. As we continue to analyze these draft picks, one thing is clear: this season is shaping up to be one for the books. With so many talented newcomers joining the fray, it's going to be fascinating to see how they all mesh with their teams and contribute to the overall landscape of the league. From the San Francisco 49ers, Romello Height, to the Seattle Seahawks, Jadarian Price, each team has carefully selected players that fill specific needs and bring unique strengths to the table. It's a delicate balance, but one that will ultimately determine which teams rise to the top and which ones fall behind. As we wrap up this segment, it's clear that the NFL Draft has brought a renewed sense of excitement and anticipation to fans everywhere. With so many intriguing storylines and fresh faces emerging, we can't wait to see how it all plays out on the field. Speaking of intriguing stories in the NFL, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, as we dive into the closing segment of today's Howard's Opinion. We've been discussing various topics throughout the episode, but now it's time to shift our focus to a rather fascinating tale that has caught my attention: the story of Jeff Caldwell, an exceptionally athletic wide receiver who, despite his impressive genetic lottery winnings, went undrafted in the 2026 NFL Draft. Now, let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a player with a perfect 10.00 relative athletic score out of 10.00, someone who stands at 6'5" and weighs 216 pounds, yet runs a blistering 4.31 40-yard dash and boasts a 42-inch vertical jump. This isn't just in the athlete. This is Jeff Caldwell, a man whose physical attributes are reminiscent of the legendary Calvin Johnson. And yet, despite these jaw-dropping numbers, Caldwell found himself without a draft pick to his name. As we delve into his collegiate career, it becomes apparent that there's more to Caldwell than just athleticism. He began at FCS Lindenwood, where in 28 games, he accumulated 93 receptions for 722 yards and 23 touchdowns. Notably, he tied an FCS single-game record with 4 receiving touchdowns against Eastern Illinois, and was a finalist for the FCS Offensive Player of the Year award in 2024. However, his transfer to Cincinnati painted a slightly different picture, with Caldwell catching just 32 passes for 478 yards and 6 touchdowns in 13 games, not exactly setting the world ablaze. The question on everyone's mind is, what happened? Why did such an athletically gifted player fail to impress during the draft? The answer lies in his route-running ability, or lack thereof. Caldwell isn't going to rival the likes of Jackson Smith in Gigba with his precision and finesse on the field. However, when you combine his frame and athleticism, there's undeniable potential. Now, let's talk about his landing spot, the Kansas City Chiefs. A team led by the incomparable Patrick Mahomes and coached by Andy Reid. It doesn't get much better than this for a wide receiver looking to make a statement. While the Chiefs did use their early picks on defense and only addressed the wide receiver position in the 5th round with Cyrus Allen from Cincinnati, Caldwell has an opportunity to prove himself alongside Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. It's worth noting that being an athletic freak doesn't guarantee NFL success, and history has shown us that even with the Chiefs, not every talented player finds their footing. Skyy Moore and Justin Ross are prime examples of players who, despite initial excitement, failed to make a significant impact. However, there's something about Jeff Caldwell that makes him worth watching. Perhaps it's his raw potential, or maybe it's the combination of his athleticism with the guidance of Mahomes and Reid. Whatever the reason, I believe Caldwell is on the cusp of something special, and we would do well to keep an eye on him as the season unfolds. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep your head in the game.